Hello and welcome back to the channel, y'alls. So what you're looking at here is a cylinder from a 4620 AV, the Poland Pro, Peter Frampton. Now this is not Peter Frampton's cylinder. This actually was a friend of mine. He knows I'm into chainsaws, and he said, you know what? I found one a long time ago. It was by the dumpster. Or not by the dumpster, it was out on the sidewalk with the trash to be thrown away. And he's like, oh, it's a nice case. He kept talking about the case, how the case was really nice. And whenever he showed up, I was like, that's a nice case. It was really big. Anyways, whenever he opened it up and it was a 4620 inside, I was like, oh, that's an awful big case for a little tiny saw. So anyways, poured it and polished it. I got the numbers on it. The numbers were crazy. So the exhaust opening, it didn't open until 111.5 after top dead center. So that is a long time for the exhaust to open. So right there's huge gains, I think. So I aimed for 102, and typical, you can't really see it. Over to the sides, up at the top, right there. See, there's the lip, there's the lip. So that lip right there went all the way across. So of course I cut into it, like I do. Woo! But it was also very flat going across the top. So I domed it a little bit more. I left the sides the way that they are. And hopefully that's going to give me 102 on the exhaust opening. We'll see. On the intake also was crazy. The intake did not start to open until 70 degrees after top dead center. So I was shooting for I was shooting for 80 degrees before top dead center. Yeah, it opened at 70 degrees before top dead center. I aimed for 80 degrees before top dead center, and I don't know. I've yet to see if I made it or not, but that's a lot. You know, that I had to take a lot out of the floor right here. And then, of course, because I raised the exhaust so much, I also did the same with, or at least I tried to do the same with the transfers. And I tried to widen them a little bit, but couldn't really do much at all, really. All I could really do is raise them. And so now I'm about ready to put it back together, and I'll get the numbers real quick and let you know. Okay, I almost completely hit my numbers, but not quite. If you guys don't do any porting and you don't understand, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Why can't you just hit the numbers? Well, try porting a saw and hitting a very specific number. It's difficult. You move little teeny tiny bits at a time. Typically, you're only removing about the amount of the thickness of your ring. You're just not moving much at all. And so it's extremely easy to surpass that or not get to that. So which happened to me both. Because on my intake, I didn't quite get there. I was aiming for 80 degrees before top dead center, and I only got to 78. Now with that, I could go a little bit further, but no, I got it back together. The exhaust, I went a little too far. I was aiming for 102 degrees after top dead center, and I got 100 degrees after top dead center. With my transfers, they're now open at 120 degrees after top dead center, which means I have 22 degrees of blow down in between the moment that my exhaust opens until my transfers open and start pushing that fuel in. So I really like this design. This is very different than the Wild Thing. I mean, it's not very different, but the Wild Thing, this cup right here, these bolts, they go through the plastic case and up into this, so into your cylinder. Well, with this one, you have separate bolts holding this bottom pan on, your crank housing, I guess you would call it. And you have these bolts is what bolts this to the plastic case. So I really like that because that allows me to put it all together, assemble it right here in my hands. I can take this over and I can put it in the vise, and I can hook up my timing wheel and just do it all like that. It's really nice. And so now I'm going to open up Peter Frampton. I'm going to put this in place. And again, the cool thing is I'll just be able to take that whole assembly out without opening it up. And I know that that's basically an engine. That's a good engine without the exterior components such as your carburetor and your exhaust. So anyways, I like this little setup. And whatever happens here, good or bad, it's probably going to be significant because I really changed the timing. I mean, it was, from what I know, very out of whack. Being 111 or 112 degrees after top dead center for your exhaust opening, that is waiting a long time before you open that exhaust. And again, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that unburnt fuel isn't going out. They're giving it a lot of time to burn. Well, I don't care so much about that. So we want that out as quickly as possible and the new charge in. So this should be really interesting to see how good it runs after this. So, or bad. Maybe I screwed it all up. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, this part's going to be very difficult to film, but we're going to push through. Here we go. So this is the phenolic spacer, right? It goes right there and goes onto your intake. Now, the whole point of this and this shielding is to keep heat soak from coming back this direction. Now, if you live in a really cold environment and you want some of that heat soak because it keeps your fuel lines from freezing up or whatever, however that works, you remove this rubber thing. All right, so that's the extra one in case this is screwed up, which I don't think that it is. What we're going to do here, so I had to cut that top part off. You see that right there? Cut that top part. I also had to cut like an arch there. All right. Now let's line this up and get it on there. All right. This, my friends, is new. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Check that out. Yes. Okay, so this is the intake manifold stack from an Echo CS 400. So you got the bottom part, bolts right on, no problem. And then this real nice filter setup right like this. I'm going to have to cut up the top and everything, I'm certain. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. But I do expect I'll have to cut up the top. But we got a nice filtration system here. Now, before I go and like put that all together, I got to figure out what to do with this. This right here is the throttle setup for this 4620. Now, I'm certain that all I have to do is remove this cable from this shielding and I can make it work. This part right here would be the, like, I don't know, bung or whatever, and it goes right here in your handle. That keeps your cable from moving. So anyways, let me turn the camera off and I'm going to try and figure this out. Okay, so I got it all routed. The sheathing on this cable, I had to remove a lot, you know, a little bit at a time, about about that much. It came up and did this big loop-de-loop, and it was stupid. Anyways, now you can't really see it. So I removed almost all the sheathing. The only sheathing that we have is that little piece right there, like that. All right, now, the cable was far too long, right? And I don't have the means to be cutting off the end and leading the end and stuff like that. So what I did was I ran it through here, pulled it out as far as it would go, right? And then I put the trigger in place like this so that I could really work with it. And I looped it around and I cut little slots in this plastic handle. Bam, all the way down to there. Now, whenever I put the other side of the handle on, it'll hold all this in place. And as you can see, that's the best this throttle has ever worked. This throttle has always felt like shit. All right, so there's that fix. The filter will go on there. It's all great. Now I got to figure out what I have to do to, do I have to cut the top? Of course I have to cut the top. Of course I do. But we got to figure out how much I got to cut it and all that jazz. Oh, brother. Brothers and sisters, hear me holler. Isn't that sweet? Woo! I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I will say that it is a tight fit. Add the spit on it and push a little harder. But it works. It's right up against that. Remember I had to cut that phenolic spacer out? Well, this top has a wall of its own. So we still have a good spacer in existence, I guess, separating the hot from the cooler side. But that little hole right there is open. But this is so open, I don't think it'll matter. So I'm going to fire it up and tune it up. And I'll let you know if anything weird happens. But it probably won't. But once I get it tuned up, we'll put it in some wood. She tuned right up, no problem. One more little secret that you guys should know is, remember how I was talking about this handle is janky feeling? Well, it's not janky feeling anymore. So what happened was, there should be a rubber grommet. There's a little stud that comes out of your case here and into this handle, and there's no grommet there. So this is the third one that's passed my hands, and none of them had that grommet. So what I did was I just rolled electrical tape around it until it was big enough and fit the way the grommet should fit. So now it feels so much better in your hands, and my God, it runs good. I am really happy about that, because y'all know that I really like Peter Frampton. He's a great little saw, and runs great. I mean, just freaking fantastic. I mean, it's cutting like crazy. I think I got some footage of the 2153 cutting this. I think I do. If not, then I will get some, and we will cut on this and see what the difference between these two is. That damn little thing rips now. Rips. It is pulling chain, brothers. I mean, I am freaking excited. I'm more excited about this than I am that Echo. Because, I mean, that Echo is 73 cc's. I mean, it was expected that it was going to kick ass, you know. But this little thing stood up and said, I'm over here. That is cool. That is really, really cool. Way to go, Pete. You're a good guy. I like you. Man, you know what the worst thing ever would be? Well, maybe not the worst thing ever, but a bad thing is if he caught wind of this and didn't like it and started talking and saying, some idiot out there named a chainsaw after me. Hey, man, I would hate that. That's awful. I like the chainsaw. I like the name. It works. Peter Frampton comes alive. It is definitely alive now. That thing kicks ass. I mean, that is a ripping little guy. Freaking cool. All right, so I just put the tack on it, and it just tacked at 13,700 RPMs. So, this thing's freaking awesome. Oh, I gotta get pictures of it for a thumbnail. I am so dang happy about this. It freaking kills it, man. It's just like, that thing is ripping. I bet you it'll outrun the 2153, at least in pine. You know, damn, it's really pulling. That's awesome. I love that. So to all you folks out there who don't do anything with your compression, you know, you don't cut the cylinder base and all this stuff. Well, this one's for y'all. You can get damn good performance out of a saw without the need to cut the cylinder base. I personally think that you can get more when you cut the cylinder base. Depends on how much you cut it. This one was at 40,000 squish, so it wasn't that bad to begin with. But yeah, a lot of you guys out there do porting and you don't have a lathe and you don't cut the cylinder base down. And so best case scenario really that you're ever going to get without a base gasket and all that stuff, unless you got something different like you know, a lot of people take the steel 028 super piston and put it in a Husqvarna 55. Hey, you can get some serious compression. You don't need to mill the base at all. I'm flabbergasted. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, gains can still be had. So one of you guys asked me a while back, do I think that saws can still be ported without the base being cut? Absolutely. I've always thought that. Always thought that. And depending on what you're looking for, in some cases it might be better. because of a freer spinning motor leads to more RPMs. But anyways, I'm just saying, your shit is really ported too. I think that there's different levels of port jobs. Absolutely. You know, I don't know why people buck that so much, because they don't have any problems with going, oh, this is wood's ported, okay? And this is race ported, or whatever they might say. But then whenever I say things like there's different levels of porting, you know, it's like, I don't know. Because it's so weird how, you know, you have the crowd over here that's like, you can't consider it a ported chainsaw unless it has been milled. The base has been milled. And you got this crowd over here that's going, I don't need to do that at all. I get good gains. And so, well, what I am not looking to do is count out anyone, you know. I know for a fact I just ported this thing up, and I made it breathe better as well, and I didn't change the compression on it, and this little thing is running like a rape tape. I'm telling you, it's awesome. So, just saying, it all depends on what you're looking for, you know. I personally believe, now I'm pretty new to this, but what I am learning and thinking, and these are my thoughts, is that if you're planning on running a 32-inch bar or a 28-inch bar or something like that, you need that compression. You need that compression. That's where your torque is going to come from, and your grunt and your power. If you're looking to zip through something as quickly as possible, and you're not going to be digging those dogs in and everything, you don't need that compression so much. You're going to be running a smaller bar and stuff. There's a lot of things that go into it. And that's why every saw needs to be kind of tailored towards the user that's going to be using it. How do they run a saw? What are they looking to do with the saw? With this right here, well, cutting the base was not an option for me. I wasn't going to do it. And so I just got lucky that it had a 40,000 squish. I did two readings. One of them said 38 thousandths. So the squish wasn't bad at all. I'm telling you, these are damn good little saws. Yeah, I'm stoked right now. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you laughed at me. That was genuine. I was feeling it. Oh, yeah, it's running good. Later. Look what just came in the mail. Thanks, Kevin. Cool. I'm already starting to doubt my statement.